Good evening, my friends. 3 years ago, in April 2016, I declared my apostasy from Islam. I left Islam because of tremendous hate that I was receiving after I criticized the terrorist attack in Paris the year before that, that is in 2015. I was criticizing Islamist terrorism, but surprisingly, I was told to shut my mouth by vast majority of Islamist activists. I was shocked. After preaching Islam for many decades, I was shocked that I was running out of apologetic arguments. And I left eventually. You know all that. And I became a strong critic of Islam itself. But over the last 3 years, after making hundreds of videos in this matter, I have a new realization. It has made me wiser and it has made me more experienced in the matter. I have seen there is a rise of hatred, not only against Islam, but also against Muslims. That is not what I was expecting, but that's what is happening now. I am a critic of all organized religions, but I've seen that for whatever reason, all other religions and the followers of those religions have developed this sense of idea that Islam is somehow a hate cult. And this cult needs to be abolished because it can't be reformed. I was accepting this, and I still believe that there should be no reformation of these religions and they should simply die out eventually because of the rational approach towards our way of life in the present times. We have become more rational, we have become more scientific in our day-to-day lives. So all these reminiscences of the past are sure to be abolished in due course of time. But for whatever reason, I've seen there is a rise of hatred against Islam in particular. But in history, all religions had their bad times, all of them. There is also a rise of Hindu fundamentalism in India, where minorities are suffering tremendously. When a terrorist attacked the mosque in Christchurch, I was shocked to see many Hindus were rejoicing. That saddened me because I hate an ideology which is bad, but I don't hate anyone. I've seen that people react in a certain way when they don't know the answer to it. We can't view the Muslim world or the third world with the same eyes that we view the developed world, the Western world, because there's lack of education in the Muslim world, there's lack of finances, most of the Muslim countries are poor, and also there are reasons, valid reasons to be angry towards some of the Western foreign policies. There's no way to deny it. There's economic deprivation, and in many occasions it is also true that the Western powers have also played in the domestic affairs of those third world countries so that they remain in the dark ages as they are living now. So there's hardly any genuine intentions to salvage those, to help those nations salvage themselves from this morass. So there are then genuine grudges as well. Most of the Muslims are hardworking people in the West, and they are great contributors in economy. Most of the migrants are contributors, great contributors as well. For example, South Asian people form 4% of British population, but they contribute 6% in the economy. So what if it was otherwise? What if it was the other way around? South Asian people, what if they had contributed 2% in the economy? They would become a liability, which they are not. We have seen a rise of ultranationalism, fascism in certain countries in Europe, where when economies in those countries went haywire. For example, when Greece almost went bankrupt, we saw a rise of attacks on the migrants. So there is also always a blame game on the migrants when it comes to economic problems. So there are many factors which plays into hating migrants, and most of the Muslims in Europe and the Western world are migrants. So this excuse of hating Islam is also used by those anti-migrant forces who do not want even deserving migrants into their lands. Over the last 3 years, I have helped thousands of people live Islam because I sent a shockwave around the Muslim world when, being the first person on social media and on any public platform who was well known as an Islamic preacher, left Islam and declared apostasy, and I started criticizing Islam vehemently with references and everything. And hate messages started pouring in against me. Thousands of videos were made against me, calling for my death. Facebook pages were made with thousands of likes, calling for my death. But I struggled on. I went to debate leading scholars, world scholars like Dr. Umar al-Qadri, Imam Tawhidi, various muftis and sheikhs and scholars from Bengali-speaking part of the world, from South Asia. Being the first man in history who left Islam, didn't follow any religion, and then went on to debate an Islamic scholar. First man in 1400 years. But I was wrong in using social media to make unscathing attack against Islam, especially. Why? As I said, that Muslim world is marred in ignorance, mostly lack of education, and they are also indoctrinations are there since childhood. So I didn't take those things into account when I made those videos. Did I have the right to make those videos? Yes, of course. Do I have the right to offend someone because that I find their beliefs or ideologies to be wrong? Yes, I do. I do have the right to offend. Do I have the right to freedom of expression? Yes, I do. But I also have responsibility. Being a well-known man, I also have a responsibility towards my audience. Stand by for second part.